The royal world has always been a place of whispers, hidden tensions, and unspoken loyalties. But few scandals have rattled the monarchy like the shocking revelations surrounding Prince William and Meghan Markle. Today, we dive deep into the palace corridors, the secret meetings, and the unseen forces that have brought Queen Catherine to a moment of unprecedented shock. This is not just gossip, it's a story that could redefine the very image of the British royal family. From the moment Prince Harry and Meghan Markle stepped onto the royal stage, they were seen as disruptors, agents of change in a centuries-old institution. But behind the public smiles, royal weddings, and charitable engagements, tensions simmered. Prince William, the heir to the throne, found himself at the center of a controversy that no palace protocol could contain. Reports have now surfaced of private communications and late-night encounters that suggest a level of secrecy and betrayal even the most seasoned royal watchers could hardly imagine. For Queen Catherine, known for her grace, poise, and unwavering sense of family duty, the revelations were a personal shock, a betrayal not only of trust but of the royal code itself. What makes this story particularly gripping is the way it highlights the collision between tradition and modern celebrity culture. Royals are expected to follow strict rules. Appearances, alliances, and conduct are meticulously monitored. Yet, in an age of social media leaks, viral headlines, and relentless paparazzi, even the most discreet actions can explode into global scandals. William's alleged secret involvement with Meghan did not merely break palace protocol, it ignited a media firestorm that reached every corner of the world. Fans and critics alike were left questioning loyalties, motives, and the very foundation of the monarchy. Suddenly, the perfect image of the royal family, pristine, disciplined, untouchable, began to crack under the pressure of modern scrutiny. And then there's the human story behind the headlines. At the heart of this scandal is a family grappling with change, perception, and emotional truth. Queen Catherine, often viewed as the stabilizing anchor of the royal household, was confronted with evidence that challenged her understanding of her family. How could William, her eldest son and future king, become entangled in such a controversial situation? What were the implications for her children, for the monarchy, and for the public trust? These questions are not abstract. They strike at the very core of royal life, blending personal anguish with the unavoidable spectacle of public attention. The intrigue doesn't stop there. Royal insiders have hinted that this scandal is just the tip of the iceberg. There are whispers of confidential meetings, letters hidden from public view, and decisions made in private chambers that could have far-reaching consequences. Every move, every gesture, and every decision is now being analyzed for hidden meaning. And in the midst of this drama, the public is captivated, not just by the idea of betrayal, but by the human vulnerability that even royals cannot escape. As we unravel this story, it becomes clear why scandals like this dominate headlines and drive millions to click, watch, and share. There's a timeless fascination with royalty, a magnetic pull toward the glamour, power, and secrecy of the palace. And when the veneer cracks, revealing human flaws behind the crown, it becomes irresistible. Today, we peel back the layers of secrecy to uncover the truth behind William's alleged betrayal and Queen Catherine's shocking discovery, an unfolding saga that will leave viewers questioning everything they thought they knew about the monarchy. The British royal family has long walked a fine line between tradition and public fascination. For centuries, their lives were cloaked in ceremony, protocol, and privilege. The public admired them from a distance, with newspapers and newsreels shaping the perception of royalty as untouchable, almost mythic figures. But over the last few decades, something dramatic has shifted. Royals are no longer just rulers, they are celebrities living under the relentless glare of cameras and the global gaze of social media. And in this new era, secrets are harder to keep, and betrayals hit harder than ever before. It all began with figures like Princess Diana, whose every appearance was analyzed, photographed, and immortalized. The public didn't just watch her, they connected with her, seeing a human side of royalty that had been long hidden. Diana's blend of compassion, vulnerability, and scandal made her a pioneer in transforming the monarchy into something more relatable, yet more scrutinized. And with that change, the stakes were raised. Any perceived misstep by a royal was no longer confined to private whispers. It became international news overnight. Every handshake, every glance, every visit was dissected for meaning, and the palace's age-old code of discretion struggled to keep pace. Fast forward to today, and that dynamic has intensified exponentially. Prince William, Princess Kate, Prince Harry, and Meghan Markle exist in a world where a single private meeting or secretive conversation can spark headlines across continents. Unlike previous generations, modern royals must navigate not only protocol, but also the algorithms of fame, virality, and public opinion. A minor misunderstanding or private disagreement can explode into a scandal that dominates the news cycle for weeks. And this is exactly the landscape in which William's alleged betrayal unfolded. Caught between the pressures of public life, the expectations of the monarchy, and the irresistible draw of celebrity culture, Meghan Markle, in particular, represents a seismic shift in royal dynamics. An American actress accustomed to media attention, she brought a modern, outspoken energy into a centuries-old institution. Her presence challenged conventions and demanded the royal family adapt or face conflict. And it was in this climate of change, tension, and unprecedented scrutiny that William reportedly became embroiled in a situation that shocked even seasoned royal observers. The idea that a future king could be implicated in private dealings with a family member who was viewed as a disruptor and a rival to Kate's position added layers of intrigue, drama, and betrayal. This isn't just a story of individual choices. It's a story about power, image, and the struggle to maintain authority in the 21st century. Royals are expected to embody perfection, yet they are also human, prone to mistakes, desires, and emotional impulses. When those impulses clash with the rigid expectations of monarchy, the results are often explosive. And for Queen Catherine, the fallout of William's alleged betrayal hit on multiple levels: personal, familial, and institutional. The palace is not just a home, it's a symbol of stability and continuity. A secret affair or clandestine alliance, particularly one involving Meghan, represents a fracture that threatens to reverberate across the entire monarchy. As we explore this story further, we'll uncover the personal motivations, the palace strategies, and the emotional turmoil that have brought this scandal into the global spotlight. The drama is not simply about a secret. It's about the collision of duty, desire, and destiny in the lives of those born to rule. To truly understand the explosive nature of William's alleged betrayal, we need to step back to the era of Princess Diana, arguably the most transformative figure in modern royal history. Diana wasn't just a princess, she was a phenomenon. She captivated the world with her warmth, charm, and empathy, showing the public that royals were not untouchable icons. They were human, capable of joy, heartbreak, and scandal alike. Her presence permanently shifted the monarchy from a distant institution into a living, breathing part of global culture. Diana's life was one of contrasts. On one hand, she was adored, the people's princess, whose charitable work and compassion left lasting impressions. On the other hand, she navigated betrayal, media scrutiny, and the pressures of a royal marriage that never met her emotional needs. Her struggles with Prince Charles, their eventual separation, and her untimely death created a blueprint for how royal scandal would capture public imagination for decades to come. Every tear, every secret, every palace whisper became fodder for worldwide headlines, teaching royals that privacy was nearly impossible in the modern era. Fast forward to today, and Diana's shadow looms large over the royal family. William, as her eldest son, grew up acutely aware of his mother's legacy. The intense public gaze, the media scrutiny, and the consequences of private actions becoming public spectacle. Diana's experiences taught him lessons in caution, but also left him vulnerable to the very pressures she had endured. And yet, in the case of his reported secret dealings involving Meghan Markle, history seems to be repeating itself in a dramatically different form. Whereas Diana's struggles were largely with a royal spouse and traditional media, William now faces the complexities of social media, global celebrity culture, and a stepfamily dynamic that adds layers of intrigue and emotion. It's impossible to ignore the parallels. Diana's life revealed that royal image and personal happiness often clash, and that betrayal, whether perceived or real, can shake the monarchy to its core. Queen Catherine, now facing William's alleged betrayal, is reminded of her own family history, the fragility of public perception, the challenge of maintaining unity, and the human vulnerabilities that even royals cannot escape. Just as Diana's actions and choices redefined what it meant to be a royal in the public eye, so too does Meghan's presence challenge traditional norms, testing loyalties and reshaping family dynamics in real time. The Diana connection also explains the intensity of the public's reaction. People aren't just reacting to a secret, they are responding to decades of accumulated royal narrative, of lessons learned, and of emotions passed down through generations. William's alleged betrayal resonates so strongly because it echoes themes from Diana's life: secrecy, conflict, and the tension between personal desire and public duty. It's a story that is as much about the family's past as it is about its present, showing how history, emotion, and human behavior collide in the palace corridors. As we move further into the scandal, it becomes clear that Diana's legacy is more than a backdrop. It is the lens through which we understand William, Meghan, and Catherine today. The lessons of the past, combined with the pressures of modern royalty, set the stage for one of the most shocking chapters in the monarchy's recent history. And in the next segment, we will dive into the Meghan and Harry earthquake, a seismic disruption that made the palace more vulnerable to secrets, betrayals, and public scrutiny than ever before. The arrival of Meghan Markle and Prince Harry onto the royal stage didn't just make headlines, it caused an earthquake within the monarchy. Their union was seen as a modern fairy tale, an American actress marrying into one of the oldest royal families in the world. But beneath the surface, the story was far more complicated, full of tensions, alliances, and rivalries that would leave lasting scars on the family and palace dynamics. For Queen Catherine and Prince William, Meghan's entrance was challenging in ways the public could barely see. Unlike traditional royal brides, Meghan carried a celebrity persona, a media-savvy background, and a global platform. She didn't just join the monarchy, she disrupted it. Every move, every interview, every public appearance was scrutinized, not just by journalists, but by palace insiders. And in a world where perception is power, that disruption had consequences. It created insecurities, rivalries, and in some cases, suspicions that alliances could be tested, secrets could surface, and loyalties could be questioned. The Meghan and Harry earthquake wasn't just a metaphor. Their decisions, from stepping back as senior royals to revealing private family tensions in explosive interviews, shook the foundation of royal protocol. The palace, traditionally a fortress of secrecy and control, suddenly found itself exposed to global audiences. And for William, the heir to the throne, this was a test of not only leadership, but emotional resilience. Suddenly, private actions weren't just private, they had the potential to spark worldwide controversy. Every choice he made was analyzed for motive, impact, and betrayal. It is in this context that reports of William's alleged secret dealings with Meghan become even more startling. At first glance, the idea seems impossible. Why would the future King of England engage in a clandestine relationship with someone perceived as a rival or outsider? Yet, when viewed through the lens of the seismic changes Meghan brought to the palace, the pieces start to make sense. The pressures of loyalty, family dynamics, and public perception created an environment where private alliances could shift rapidly and where secrets could easily take on explosive significance. For Queen Catherine, the earthquake was both literal and symbolic. She had navigated decades of royal expectations, always maintaining poise and control. But Meghan's presence, and now William's alleged involvement, challenged that stability. The palace walls, once a sanctuary for private family matters, suddenly became a theater of speculation, intrigue, and suspicion. The stakes were higher than ever. This wasn't merely about gossip or scandal, it was about the cohesion of the royal family, the reputation of the monarchy, and the emotional well-being of those at the heart of it. The palace has always been a world of shadows. Behind the glittering chandeliers, immaculate gardens, and ceremonial pomp lies a network of secrets, whispers, and decisions that the public rarely glimpses. For centuries, these walls have protected the monarchy's image, concealing the human drama, conflicts, and rivalries that simmer beneath. But in the case of William's alleged betrayal, those walls were not enough to contain the truth, and Queen Catherine found herself facing revelations she could never have anticipated. Palace insiders describe a world governed by protocol, hierarchy, and unspoken rules. Every conversation is measured, every alliance considered, and every relationship managed with caution. Yet, even in such a controlled environment, human emotions, jealousy, ambition, love, and resentment cannot be entirely suppressed. It is in these hidden corridors and private chambers that the most consequential decisions are made. And according to sources, it was within these walls that William's clandestine involvement with Meghan began to take shape, far from the public eye, but with implications that would reverberate across the monarchy. Confidential meetings, sealed letters, and discreet phone calls are part of the palace's daily operations. But when they intersect with personal motives, they can spark explosive situations. William, caught between his role as future king, his loyalty to family, and the modern pressures of media scrutiny, reportedly engaged in communications that were never meant to see the light of day. Meghan, with her unique perspective as both a royal and a former actress accustomed to public exposure, may have leveraged these interactions in ways that caught even seasoned palace officials off guard. And for Catherine, discovering these secrets was not just shocking, it was a personal betrayal, touching the very core of family trust. The palace's structure itself can intensify these dramas. The hierarchy creates a delicate balance. Senior royals wield authority, while others must navigate subtle power dynamics. Alliances and rivalries form quietly, sometimes lasting decades. When those private arrangements are disrupted, through secret communications, confidential alliances, or perceived betrayals, the effects can be seismic. Queen Catherine, often seen as the stabilizing figure, suddenly had to confront the reality that her family's private world was far more complex, fraught, and fragile than she had imagined. Moreover, the public's insatiable curiosity amplifies every whisper from within the palace walls. Even the most discreet secret is vulnerable to leaks, speculation, and interpretation. For William and Meghan, what might have begun as a private matter quickly took on global significance. Every revelation, every subtle gesture, and every confidential meeting became a puzzle for observers to piece together. And in doing so, the palace's carefully curated image of unity and control began to crumble. Understanding the secrets behind the palace walls gives insight into why this scandal has captured the world's attention. It's not merely about William or Meghan. It's about the tension between personal desire and public duty, secrecy and transparency, loyalty and betrayal. These walls, once a symbol of royal protection, now serve as a reminder that even monarchs are human, and human flaws, ambitions, and mistakes can echo louder than any royal decree.